Hello, welcome to Making a Difference. I'm your host, Greg Chapman. Today I have a special guest with me. She's known for a lot of things, and we'll let her talk about herself a little bit. But what I'm excited about is we get to hear a story of coaching, not from someone who's not a coach, but someone whose life and family has been impacted by it. So welcome to the show today, Rebecca Maxwell. Rebecca, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
And so for those of us listening who don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where at.
Yeah.
Heard you wrote a book or something.
I did. Yeah. So I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. And prior to that, I was in ministry with kids and students. So I've always been around kids and students and their families and working specifically now in kind of the mental and relational health field. And I'm married almost 26 years and I have 2 boys. So we have been around coaches and coaching and sports and still are. So it's definitely been a big part of our lives.
That's great. So it's like the Maxwell locker room at home for you.
Oh, it is. And both boys are home now. They're 20 and 22 and they're both home. So it was loud last night with all the basketball happening. So yeah, it's definitely a locker room. Yes.
Fun. I'm sure you miss it when they're not there and it's quiet again.
Yes, it's weird.
So just tell us a little bit about your story. Like you said, you've been impacted, your family's been impacted by coaches for years.
Yeah.
So what's that like? You know, when your boys are playing and you're watching and you're seeing these adults who aren't parents of your kids, obviously, impact your kids.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, I think that we are either really impacted in a positive way by a coach, or we are helping our kids ride it out or navigate a negative impact or not letting it impact them. Meaning, like, I think we've had some great coaches who really care about the kids and developing their character alongside of their sports skills in whatever sport they've been in, many sports. But then there are some coaches that just kind of don't show up in the way that we would hope in terms of character, either their own character or developing the character in the kids. Maybe they have different goals maybe than we did. And so we were always either navigating, hey, this is a great coach, lean in, listen to them, or hey, we know this is a struggle and it's not awesome, but we're going to work on perseverance and being a good teammate and, you know, resilience and things like that.
I just with what I do for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I tell coaches all the time that it's not their job to parent kids. Yeah. They have parents. Yeah. You've been around long enough to know that some parents are better than others.
Yeah.
So that kind of forces coach to step in on some level, but they still don't assume the role of parent.
Sure.
But they're part of the process. And so to your point, of the things that they instill, hopefully are reinforcing some things that are being instilled at home and not contradicting. Yeah. Sometimes they have to contradict to mold good human beings for the sake of our communities.
Yeah.
Just through your 2 boys and the sports that they've played, you know, I know one's playing college or running for his college right now.
Yeah.
What are some of the good things that you've seen from a coach?
Yeah, I think we've had coaches that have highlighted the strengths of our boys when they weren't the best player on the field, which I think is really important. So they were able to highlight other things. You know, maybe one of our sons wasn't the best soccer player on that field, but he was a great teammate and he was encouraging to others. Yeah. And so to have a coach be able to look at our son and tell him what he was doing well, even if he wasn't maybe the most skilled player, I think is really, really meaningful. I think that helps develop their character and build them up. And then I think sometimes I don't even know how the coaches did it, but they were able just to get the best out of our kids. And where I would have looked at the coaches and been like, oh, I don't know if they're the best, but our kids would say they got the most out of me. Yeah. And so it's an interesting thing that you do because no 2 coaches are alike and no 2 players are alike. So they're always going to get something different out of these kids. Yeah.
Something that we've learned with FCA is a lot of coaches, it's common sense, I think, but a lot of coaches coach the way that they've been coached.
Yeah.
And so for my generation of coaches, we still tend to coach hard because we were coached hard.
Sure.
We tend to say things that are offhand
Sure.
because
Yeah.
Lord knows what we've been told when we were at the same age.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it doesn't excuse it, doesn't make it
Yeah.
right. It's just a reality of how generations impact generations. And
Totally.
so the flip side of that, you've seen the ugly in sport too when it comes to coaching.
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, coaches have a big impact. And, in my field of mental health, you know, there are kids that struggle with different things off of the field. And a coach that's kind of the same way with all the kids can have a detrimental impact on one and a positive impact or seemingly no impact on another kid. And I've seen that detriment, on the field with kids if they don't have the good support at home or if they're struggling with something emotionally. I mean, if you have a team full of kids, you have some kids that are more emotionally expressive than others, or more
Yeah.
emotionally sensitive. And so one coach can have a great impact on that, and another coach can have a detrimental one and almost make the problem worse just in
Yeah.
their approach. So I don't envy coaches at all because, just sitting back as a parent watching that, I just kind of wonder, gosh, how do they manage,
Yeah.
each kid differently? But I think that there are some coaches, and I wouldn't say this is the majority. I think most coaches are there for the right reason and really trying to instill good character in the kids. But there are some that are too harsh for the kid in front of them. And that can shape, I talk to people in my office. A coach can really shape their core beliefs about their self, especially when they're young and their brains are still developing. If you have a coach, like I would say, like select soccer, right?
Yeah.
You've got that coach every single day, hours a day, who is telling your kid the same thing over and over. That could develop a negative core belief in them that they carry with them. And then I see that in the
Yeah.
therapy room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you turn 18 and become an adult doesn't mean the things
Yeah.
that have instilled with you
Yeah.
at
No.
an early age just go away.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. They're
yeah,
still there.
and I'm not going to stick up for coaches at all. I mean, they're all responsible for what they say and what they do. But at the same time, they're human.
Totally.
Doesn't
Absolutely.
again, not excusing.
Yeah.
Just we have a few minutes left. What would you tell to the coach who's just starting out as a mom who's been around for some years and seen some things at every level? Like I said, collegiately, you've got a kid competing collegiately. What do you say to the coach now who's starting out on how they can leverage sport just for the greater good of the community?
Yeah, I think I would say the same thing that I say to parents, which is I always say parenting from the inside out. Like, do your own work so that you can show up and be the best parent you can. I would say the same thing to coaches. You got to check your own heart. You've got to check your own motivations. You've got to do the character work on you because you can't give and instill what you don't have in you. So I would hope that coaches would be very involved with groups where they would continue to be learning and growing in their own identity as a coach so that they can coach the way they want to in their vision and out of their good character, instead of just trying to, I don't know, kind of piece it together and do it. It's kind of like parenting, right? We're either going to just do what we saw from our parents, or we're going to make a concerted effort to say, who do I want to be as a parent? And so I would say the same thing for coaches.
Yeah. Who do you want to be and who do you want to develop?
Yeah.
I tell coaches all the time that you're developing the future of communities, and
absolutely
not necessarily our community.
Right.
Someone's going to leave your team and go somewhere else and establish
That's
their
a great
roots
point.
somewhere else. And it's their behavior and characters, you're going to speak into that at some level. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Rebecca, I sure appreciate you coming out in the rain today and floating through San Marco to join us.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
No problem. For our Making a Difference followers and listeners out there, we sure appreciate you tuning in, and feel free to share this video.
Foodies Care is a nonprofit organization here started in Jacksonville, Florida. Our mission is to support other nonprofits realize and carry out their missions. We're trying to simplify that process to have a local body that's here on the ground that says, listen, we're going to work with you, we're going to partner with you, we're going to give you the resources that you need to be able to do the work that is needed in this community.